warm welcome to all of you to the Economic Times Best Organizations for Women 2022, powered by Femina. Now, we do believe that there is a brighter note to the fact that in most of the countries, women make up to almost 40% of the workforce. So today, we take the opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate organizations whose contributions have been invaluable in creating outstanding work environment for women to help them thrive. But first up, to welcome you all officially, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and please help me welcome on stage Sunita Quadros, Chief Business Officer, ET Edge.
Women's engagement in the workforce has gained considerable attention in recent years. So if you see, many organizations are taking some concrete steps and have made great amendments to become gender neutral. They've also recognized the role of women in leadership and have significantly worked towards bridging the gender pay gap and the right to equal compensation. This has led to positive developments. Today, we also take this opportunity to applaud the organizations that have set an example and are providing the much needed inspiration for others to follow. Thank you.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest of honor for this event, Srimati Rekha Sharma, Honorable Chairperson, National Commission for Women.
Thank you so much, ET Now, for organizing this wonderful program for the organizations which are not only helping women to come out and work, but giving equal opportunity and equal salaries, and is a perfect example in this today's world for women to come up and do her own thing. We still have to go long way where the gender equality is concerned. Every day we are getting reports that in India, the workforce participation of women is decreasing. From last few years, we have shifted our work from only working for the complaints to empower women. So we have started training women in entrepreneurship. So we want more women to come forward and start their own businesses. With that, thank you so much for inviting me here.
So on that note, let me also set the tone in order to introduce our next guest, because she is someone who has advocated women empowerment. Please help me welcome the wonderful, the beautiful, and the amazing Dia Mirza.
I'm very grateful to be here to acknowledge the work and the mentorship and the participation to encourage women in roles of leadership and to ensure that no one is left behind. As we all know, the world is contending with many a crisis, but gender inequality is one of the most urgent crises that needs our attention. And we've also witnessed in the recent past that wherever women have led, the world has become a better place.
That's well put there. Now, what, according to you, could be the top 3 critical pointers, if somebody wants to go ahead and leave, for that matter, or rather lead an inspiring life and also inspiring the others?
What I've discovered through my journey is that nothing speaks more truthfully than authenticity. So define your own narrative, speak your own truth, and walk your own path, and you'll lead the way.
Blue Dart has firmly embedded a women empowerment culture since its inception, and we are so proud of that. They have always had the power to create, empower, and nurture various aspects of this business, making it successful. Across functions, operations, sales, customer service, or even pilots that fly our planes, our women colleagues work shoulder to shoulder to deliver a delightful customer experience. In fact, some of our teams are entirely all women teams. Blue Dart imagines the world which is free of stereotypes and discrimination, where diversity and inclusivity is valued and celebrated. Let's take inspiration from our women colleagues as they create better families, communities, businesses, and nations. This recognition will further propel Blue Dart to becoming an organization where our women colleagues will always come first. Together, let's break the bias.
For us, as an organization in an increasingly VUCA world, D&I are the pillars by which we look at sustainable growth for ourselves. What it means is that we provide safe spaces and environments where different voices can come together and contribute to our growth story. What it also means for us is that we have stronger decision-making process, less group thinking, more innovation, but most importantly, the people of our organization feel heard and understood. At the end of the day, Gainwell doesn't look at D&I as just us hitting numbers. We look at D&I concepts as a core value for ourselves, which trickle down to every single last mile decision making. For us, what it does is make sure that our employees, particularly the most marginalized of voices, feel that they are part of our decision making process. As we expand our idea of what inclusion and diversity means to include more and more marginalized voices, as we change our ideas to include more and more people in the conversation, we feel that this will be the reason why we will one day become an extraordinary organization.
At HDFC Ergo, diversity is at the core of what we do and who we are. And this extends into our practices and interventions in the organization. And diversity for us extends beyond just gender. We recognize that people come from different ethnicities, they have different thoughts, ideas, experiences. So our focus is to really create an ecosystem where everybody, however diverse their backgrounds are, they have a platform to express themselves with authenticity and feel psychologically safe to do that. So I think that's what the business case for D&I would be, because it helps us to truly create an inclusive workplace. I was reading somewhere in some research that the younger people who are making a decision about joining an organization, the considerations to join an organization are so different from probably what it was a few years ago. So hence, it becomes even more, or should I just replace the word, it's imperative for organizations to really make an inclusive workplace.
And with that, we're about to begin with the felicitations. First up, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Prod Air Products India Private Limited. And can we hear it for Amazon Internet Services Private Limited, AWS India? And ladies and gentlemen, up next, let's hear it for HDFC Ergo General Insurance. Let's hear it for Indian Oil Corporation Limited, IOCL. So with that, let's move forward and let's hear it for Air India Express Limited. Let's hear it for Avery Dennison India Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear it for Blue Dart Express Limited? Huge round of applause for Gainwell Commerce Sales, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Edwards Life Sciences India Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, let's also keep the applause rolling for DB Shankar. Let's hear it for AB InBev GCC.
Welcome back. Next up, we have a power-packed panel discussion on the role of women in building an inspiring work culture.
I would like to turn to Dr. Ritu Anand. What can organizations do to develop women leaders and empower them to create the right work culture?
Over the last 13 years, when TCS has been on this journey of talking about diversity and inclusion, so from 100,000 to 200,000, the journey has been amazing. very simple frameworks and simple models I will talk about. First is representation. You have to increase and see people who are different and belong to, and every project is has heterogeneity in it. Second is enablement, and when I speak about enablement, it is enabling the ecosystem as well as enabling the employees, men as well as women. Third, very important, from the very beginning, development became the focus and it became the foundation for whatever we did. And we started with women in leadership, because when you go to a customer and you see only homogeneous panel or homogeneous delegation, you realize what you are missing. We are very proud to retain 95% of women who come back from parental leave or childcare leave. So our experience levels are going up, and that's our pride.
Sarika, I would like you to come in over here. To create the right hybrid culture, how do you think leaders need to really come in over there? And is there any particular aspect that women leaders can be successful on in creating the right hybrid culture?
The change, especially in the last couple of years, which has been, accelerated because of the pandemic, it throws up both opportunities and challenges. And they're the same both for men and women. But in my view, I think women are at an advantage in this hybrid mode.
And I do believe that hybrid work creates a lot of opportunities for women. It's the best time for women. It truly is. You can have the best of both worlds. What it means for leaders, I think we need to have empathy. We need to recognize that, there will be gaps of isolation. There could be challenges of connecting, the in-person connect. So really, we'll have to bring these together as organizations to make sure that we give people the future they want.
Like Mukta to come in here. So we've often heard that women's perspectives are customers' perspectives, especially in a retail company. Do you think it's true?
We are the customers, right? And product organizations or customer-facing organizations have to take cognizance to that. So innovation from a product standpoint will actually be embedded when we're listening to our customers and our colleagues. The fact that we were one of the first international brand to bring a post-surgery range to India for women that have gone through mastectomy. These are all examples of products that have been curated for our women customers, and that to us is inclusion.
Amit, over to you now. How do you see the representation of women managers, supervisors at the shop floor, and what can be done to encourage participation of women in such technical roles?
How do you create your infrastructure on your floor which is providing an equal opportunity to all? The second important piece which we see here is that for women, and I would say not just for women, for anybody, you need to have the right role models. If you have the role models across the organization, that's when you really are more inspired to take up those assignments or take up those occupations. And the last piece which I would say is, making them feel included in the organization. That's very important, and that has to grow, across the organization. So those are the key factors, in my view, which we really need to look at it when you're looking at women, especially in our sector, which has less of talent availability, and we really need to get various schemes to get them in.
So Priyanka, I want you to add your perspectives also to what Amit said. You also come from a manufacturing background.
So adding up onto what Amit said, we need to create role models. While we know we are not there yet, if we especially talk about manufacturing, but we do have examples, but we need to make it more frequently available for others to look at and develop themselves for such roles in future. So I think diversity is a future-ready skill, that each one of us need to build up ourselves for and be ready for.
Instill diversity as part of our value. So we have got 5 core value systems where diversity is a key of them, and also empowerment. So these 2 values, I think, as we are strategizing ourselves to attain around 20% of women leadership by 2025 is what we are targeting at this point in time.
So with that, I thank the panel for their wonderful perspectives.
See, as far as diversity and inclusion goes, I feel that the need has been perpetual. See the nature or our planet or this universe around us. The diversity is there, and in fact, it's careful. Inclusion itself has paved the way for sustenance of this universe. So yes, the need today might have increased because of the so fast changing, pace of the world, but the need has been perpetual. I think it is everlasting. Now, this need at Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, we understand it, and we have imbibed it. Right from our top management throughout the pipeline, very careful initiatives have been taken continuously. See, it is not an effort which has to be done in a particular pace of time, but these are continuous efforts, not intermittent in nature. And you have to continuously see that these initiatives are delivering, they are giving results. See, when we are looking at tenets of this inclusion of diversity, the most important point is that you have to look, or you have to give a story, story view. You have to understand the full picture. Now at HPCL, all these initiatives, when you want to encourage women, you want to engage them, you want to help them to reach, to the best positions based on their ability. All these initiatives are very good, but the first thing is, self. This self-reliance, this self-initiative. At HPCL, we have a platform which is called Swayam. From the word itself, you understand that it is that self, drive in yourself, which we have to, you have to cultivate. And then there are mentorship programs, and it is designed on a philosophy of, engage, lead, and inspire. So all the women in HPCL, are a part of this platform, and we continuously interact.
At Amazon and AWS, our mission is to be Earth's most customer-centric company, as well as Earth's best employer. And that is central to our work in inclusion, diversity, and equity. Our diverse teams help us think bigger and think differently in the products and services we build for our customers and the day-to-day nature of our workplace. Our teams are stronger, products are better when they include diverse perspectives and experiences.
Well, as the world evolved, as the organizations evolved, our D&I policies also evolved. I'm quite proud to say that our D&I policy have been progressive and always up the curve in our industry. We were the first company in our industry to launch adoption maternity leave when it was not there anywhere. We were the first company to have 6 months maternity leave well before the government came out with this policy. So we have been ahead of the curve. At the same time, our D&I policy is evolving and becoming more bespoke. We meet our women employees very regularly. They could be at the warehouse level or at leadership level. And then we find out what is their need. And it's quite need-based, it's quite inclusive, and we are making those policies across gender. So we are rather introducing gender-agnostic policies to enhance inclusivity. I think technology has played a big role in enabling D&I all across. I would talk about two things. One is about the workspace. The workspace has been rather redefined by technology, right from, making the workplace accessible through work from home, through work from anywhere, through hybrid working, through remote working. I think it has made it quite accessible, and women as a big workforce are now finding it quite conducive to enter into this space because of technology. Second thing, and the foremost that I think technology has played a big role is into, just revolutionizing skilling. So training was done in the training halls, then it moved to e-learnings, but with technology, trainings are like quite bespoke. Learning is on the go. So technology is a big enabler in D&I. Thank you.
Diversity is one of the key factors behind creativity and innovation of any kind. We understand that the more uniform something is, the less the chance of a new idea really breaking through, because that group is just going to become its own echo chamber. Everyone's going to say yes to the other person's ideas, and then you follow possibly 2-3 scenarios, right? The more diverse the ideas are, different thoughts, different experiences, different beliefs, there's just that much more scope for creativity. And when there's creativity, there are big ideas, big follow-throughs, and big results, right? So obviously, it's a no-brainer. A diverse workforce is really going to add business value.
Diversity and inclusiveness has always been center stage at Air India Express, right since the time we were set up about 17 years ago. And in a sense, it is a part of the DNA of the company. Air India, our parent company, and Air India Express have always had very progressive D&I policies, and that is reflected in the numbers today. So about 40% of our workforce is comprising of women. But what is more important is that women have gone beyond the many stereotypical roles, and they have broken into what were seen traditionally as male bastions. So for instance, almost 13 to 14% of our pilots, first officers and captains are women. Many key roles in the company are also held by women. For instance, in the operations department, the OCC, the Operations Control Center, which is the nerve center of airline operations, is headed by a woman. Flight dispatch, many key roles in flight safety, in training, and then again many leadership roles in the company are held by women employees. So we are very proud of that fact. Gender diversity has, I think, helped us to tide over the difficult period that we have been through, particularly as an airline, and in fact we have been recognized for business continuity. And in no small measure, women have played a very important and a frontline role in all these efforts.
3 initiatives which have been very useful to every denizen to help shape up our diversity and inclusion strategy are: number 1, having a very structured approach towards DEI. We've got diversity councils and employee resource groups which take structured policy and engagement actions towards the historically excluded groups, especially women. The second important initiative is to ensure that we've got a very good allyship going. So men in our company are trained and educated to ensure that they're inclusive and equitable in terms of the culture that they create for the historically excluded groups, especially women. The third important initiative is to ensure that women themselves are very well aware of the challenges of the workplace and are well equipped to grapple with them.
Indian Oil is a very old company, 60-plus-year-old, and the company has come a long way since then in all spheres. Of course, what I see D&I policies which has involved there has been a conscious effort. There has been a clear intent by both by top management as well as all the members in the company. I mean, all the stakeholders. So that is what I am seeing it. When you do have a better D&I policy, then it facilitates your business, and that's what we have been observing. I had almost 40% of our LPG field officers were women officers who were going and meeting people and getting them convinced about what is really being done. And that's what, if a company does well, then in mind of my customers, that creates a positive impression about the company.
Over the years, diversity management has become an integral part of human resource management, and research has proven that organizations who encapsulate diversity do very well in terms of enhanced productivity, be it innovation or increase in financial performance. By 2025, Air Products aims to achieve 28% of female representation globally across all managerial and professional levels, and that is something we feel proud of. Thank you so much.
talking about D&I, diversity and inclusion, we are basically talking about creating a culture that's safe for all the employees and that actually makes the employees feel that they can thrive and grow in that environment. Talking about Edwards, we have various policies that includes global diversity and inclusion, equal opportunity policy, prevention of sexual harassment policy, where we actually want all our female employees to feel really safe in achieving their career aspirations.